I was asked if I wanted to do this introduction to Dr. Price Cobbs, I said, well, how many days can I have to speak about this individual? Whether he's talking to the taxi cab driver, whether he's talking to the CEO at a Fortune 500 company, his demeanor is always the same. It's always very curious, it's always very genuine, and it's always very thoughtful. Have you ever been in a room with someone having dialogue with a group of people, and someone asks this game-changing question, and you go like, man, I wish I would have thought of that question. It is the question that really begins to peel the onion back so you can really get to the depth of the issue. It's the question behind the question. And if you hang around with Price enough, well, that becomes your new normal. If you turn to the inside of your booklet there, on the first page, you're going to see Vanguard, those leading the way in new developments, ideas, actions, and movements. And nothing could be more appropriate. And we were limited by word count here, as you can see, so we were only able to list a few. But what's listed there is so compelling. The things that he has been a vanguard in are the things that people are talking about now in terms of using as intervention processes. So the things that he has brought forth through his whole career and his spirit of this work in diversity and inclusion has really been something that is even today extraordinarily important and wonderful tools for us to go to. So without further ado, I'd like to bring Price up to present the award.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Kay. I'm reminded many years ago when Duke Ellington received the Pulitzer Prize, and he said, I guess you didn't want to give it to me while I was young. So at 88, I want you to know I really appreciate it, and even more so because it's from peers. We've worked together. Many of the people in the room I have worked with for 30 or 40 years. Just a couple of things I would like to share with you. One, whatever is going on at the present time, rest assured we are on the right side of history in my mind. And I say that having watched at Selma, having been in any number of things, sitting in motel rooms, waiting for the march to start the next day, and someone would turn on the television and they would say hordes of black people are driving down from Chicago to join this march. And there happened to be 4 of us sitting in a motel. But I'd like to share one thing with you that occurred in my life that was an epiphany for me. After the assassination of Dr. King, Andrew Young asked me to come and work with the Southern Christian Leadership Council. And it was one of those things that was very hush-hush. I never mentioned it for 40 years. I never mentioned it to anyone until Andy wrote about it in his book. And it was one of those events that was life-changing for me. I was a young psychiatrist, just getting my practice underway. Like many of us as we are young, feeling my oats, thinking maybe the world stopped and started when I came in a room like that. And I remember this group. One thing I remember, for all the work that they were doing, I never heard any echoes of moral superiority. They were looking at people as human. They would tease each other about who had been arrested the most. And they would particularly tease Andy Young because Andy's job was not to get arrested, but as the diplomat of the group, was to get them out of jail. And it was, all of us have had that experience where you do work and people compliment you on how much they have learned. And you never get a chance to let them know, I learned far more from you than you did from me. But the one key thing in the work that we do that I would like to share with you. As a psychiatrist, as a physician, so much of what I learned was type A, being the smartest person in the world. I remember going on rounds someone would say, you know, I remember this, I read the original articles in Czechoslovakian Journal. I, of course, speak Czechoslovakian, and oh my God, they were just, oh my God, I'm not the smartest person in the room anymore. That group helped me understand that whatever work that I did, I didn't have to be the smartest person anymore. I always then wanted to strive for be the wisest person in the world. And I want to share that with you because I just think nowhere is wisdom needed more than in our field. These are trying times, and unlike Sid, I just said the times, and certainly since we all know names and whatever, I will not mention some of the names that have caused these to be such trying times. But if we can adhere to just staying with history and striving to be the wisest people, our wisdom will get us through, not our smarts. So thank you very much.